Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start with a question. Have you ever known exactly what you needed to do, but still didn't do it? Not because you were lazy, not because you didn't understand, but because you kept saying, I'll do it later. 3 years ago, that was me. If my teachers had described me back then, they probably would have said she understands the topic, but she never turns in her work on time. And honestly, they would have been right. I wasn't a bad student. I paid attention in class. I understood the lessons. I could answer questions and participate. The problem was never my ability to learn. The problem was that I had no control over my time. Every afternoon was the same. I would get home and think I had plenty of time. I would watch videos, scroll through social media, talk to my friends, or simply relax. Then I would remember I had homework. But instead of starting, I would tell myself I still have time. And somehow, later, always arrived too late. Assignments started piling up, projects became stressful, deadlines felt impossible, and I constantly submitted work late. Sometimes, I even forgot assignments completely, and I was always overwhelmed, always trying to catch up, always feeling like I was one step behind. And the worst part was that I knew I could do better. I knew I understood the subjects, and I knew I had potential. But potential is a painful thing when you watch it go to waste. Eventually, my lack of responsibility in organizations became a real problem. I came very close to not passing the school year. And for the first time, I had to stop making excuses and ask myself a difficult question. What if the biggest obstacle in my life wasn't school? What if it was me? That realization hurt. Nobody likes admitting they're responsible for their own problems. It's easier to blame other teachers, circumstances, bad luck, or lack of time. But growth begins the moment you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do differently? When I entered high school, I didn't magically become organized. I didn't wake up one day full of motivation. I didn't become tired of disappointing myself because what hurt the most wasn't a bad grade. It wasn't a warning from a teacher, it was knowing I was capable of more and constantly proving the opposite. So I started small. I wrote down assignments, I planned my afternoons, I stopped waiting until the last minute. I learned to prioritize. I stopped depending on motivation and started depending on habits. At first, nothing dramatically happened, but something powerful happens when you start keeping promises to yourself. You begin to trust yourself. Every completed assignment became proof that I was capable. Every deadline I met became evidence that I was changing. Every small victory built confidence. Little by little, my life changed. The students who always submitted work late became the student who finished assignments early. The student who almost failed became the student who exempts almost every subject. The student who lived in constant trust became someone who actually feels in control of her responsibilities. But this talk isn't really about grades. It's about something much bigger. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. Because every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose a little trust in who you are. And every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you strengthen that trust. The person you become is shaped by those invisible moments when nobody's watching. Today, my classmates and I are graduating high school. We should be excited, and we are. But if we're honest, we're also scared. In a few months, many of us will be university students. We will enter new cities, new classrooms, new environments, and completely new stages of life. We will face responsibilities we've never faced before. We will make decisions that could affect our futures. And for the first time, nobody will be there reminding us of every deadline or telling us exactly what to do. That uncertainty is frightening. Many of us are afraid of making the wrong choice, afraid of falling, afraid of not being good enough, afraid of discovering that we're not as prepared as we thought. But I've realized something important. Nobody feels ready. The people we admire, the people who seem successful, the people who look confident, they were scared too. The difference is not that they had no fear, the difference is that they kept moving despite it. And maybe that's the lesson I wish I had learned years ago. You do not need certainty to move forward. You do not need confidence to begin. You do not need guarantees that everything will work out. You only need enough courage to take the next step. Because confidence is not something that appears before action. Confidence is created by action. You become confident after surviving difficult situations, after making mistakes, after getting back up, after proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Life is not asking us to be perfect. Life is asking us to grow. And growth is uncomfortable. It always has been. Every important chapter of our life begins with uncertainty. And that's not a sign that we're failing. It's a sign that we're evolving. So if there is one message I want to leave you with today, it is this. Don't underestimate the power of small decisions. The future is not built in a single day. It is built in ordinary afternoons, in moments when nobody's watching, in the choice between procrastinating and starting, in the choice between making excuses and taking responsibility, in the choice between staying where you are and becoming who you could be. 3 years ago, I was a student who constantly turned in assignments late, struggled with organization, and almost failed because I couldn't manage my responsibilities. Today, I stand here almost as a graduate, proud not because I became perfect, but because I proved to myself that change is possible. And as we prepare to enter university and begin a completely new chapter, I hope we remember this. We don't need to have everything figured out. We just need the courage to keep moving forward, because the future doesn't belong to the people who know exactly what they're doing. It belongs to the people who are brave enough to take the next step, even when they don't. Thank you.